looking for something. A new way, a new understanding, a connection, some comfort. You've got questions, and Light on Living puts the spotlight on all the answers so you can shine. Lift and lighten the load of life's challenges and learn simple and easy ways to live a healthy, happy life. You'll gain insight and start to see things in a new way that motivates you. You're invited to hear new, see different, and feel more as Lisa shines the light on living.
Welcome to Light on Living. I'm Light Coach Lisa, holistic nutritionist and life coach, helping to lighten the load of life's challenges. Goodness, holy moly, our guest today literally covers everything. Any area in life that you're struggling in, challenged by, you feel alone, or maybe you need some guidance in. This is the guy to listen to for coaching, motivation, and support. I've got David Essel with me here. He's 9-time author, inspirational speaker, master life coach, and radio TV show host. And he joins us today to talk about things from the myths of positive thinking. I'm excited about that one. The truth behind the reality of success, how to recognize your own unique gifts, and how to feel more alive. That one's really, again, another exciting one. A man full of excitement like myself for life and truly for making a difference in people's life. Welcome, David, to the show.
Lisa, I know we're kindred spirits, my love. We absolutely are.
It feels like that for sure. I really am happy. There's not that there's ever a time in life when the entire world is at peace and everything, but I just feel that today more than anything, we had been booked before, and the world snuck in and said, nope, can't. We've got some disasters going on, but yet again, we're here and we need you. We do need you in the way you think.
It's interesting that you say that, Lisa. Last night, of course, the tragedy in Las Vegas, 50 plus people dead, 400, injured at a concert. And we just sent out a national press release that I'm going to be offering free counseling to anyone who is affected by that tragedy. And it's needed. When people say, I really don't know what I can do in this world, with what's going on in Bangladesh or Puerto Rico or Mexico City or Vegas. And number one, we say, if you have any spiritual beliefs whatsoever, pray. The very least you could do is pray. Number two is you'd be amazed if you sit down and think of, just like today, I've been a counselor and a life coach for 27 years. And the very first thing when I woke up early this morning and saw it is I said, well, I don't know what else I could do other than what I bring to the world. So, if you're a carpenter, maybe you do think about what could I do for Puerto Rico or Mexico City. If you're, whatever you are, look at your God-given gifts, your talents, your passions, and see. And if it isn't one of those tragedies I just said, Lisa, there's a darn good chance someone in your town needs your energy.
You know what? That is so well said about energy and anything you have that even in your town. It doesn't have to be across the world. It can be in your own household. And it's funny. Right. I don't usually see, I'm not a news follower and stuff too. I did catch, everything. I catch everything. But even this morning, something as simple as, they're gearing up for their winter program here in Canada. And if you've got, extra boots, socks and underwear and coats and stuff laying around to help out just around the street. And as you said, you have been a coach for 27 years, and not just a coach, but also a trainer to other people. And I think you just actually offered a peek at that. Like, you're even helping us to recognize our own unique gifts, which is what you do. And you help train others to coach.
Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of times we get lost. And when we look at the recent tragedies that have happened in the last 3 weeks, I'll go back. Bangladesh, there's a horrendous ethnic cleansing going on there. And then we go to Puerto Rico and St. Martin, which 85% of St. Martin is totally destroyed. Then we go to Mexico City with the earthquake. Then we go to Vegas with the murders. And we look at this, and it can be so overwhelming that people get stuck on the fence, Lisa. They say, well, I don't have anything I can offer, to Bangladesh or to Puerto Rico or to Mexico City or to Vegas. But what you and I are talking about, just what you said with Canada's winter program, yes, you can do something. You have to live consciously. You have to get grounded. You can't allow the brain to get overwhelmed with tragedy without also looking for a solution. And, I love our former president, Jimmy Carter, who was just amazing. And, he made such a huge impact on Habitat for Humanity. the organization that builds homes for underprivileged people, people that are struggling. In Canada, you look down your street or in your downtowns or in your churches or in your schools, there are kids, there are adults that are suffering. You might have something, and the one thing what we all have are 2 ears to listen. Sometimes what people need is just somewhere to vent without someone telling them what to do. Yeah. So your show is a vibrant spring of light here. So let's bring that light out to Canada. Let's ask Canadians to sit back, contemplate, and then after you sit back and ask the question, what can I do? Please act on it. The smallest act is greater than the greatest thought that has no movement.
That's beautiful. Can you repeat that? I want to hear that one more time.
Yeah, the smallest act is greater than the greatest thought that has no movement.
Ooh, I like that. That may have to be a post on Facebook after for everybody to read. and because of what you just said, and we did highlight that all the tragedies, and I want to talk, I'm going to throw a big word at you, which is persistence. And also too, this is funny. I mentioned Canada at the beginning. I'm probably the only Canadian here because it's a North American show. Persistence being, how does somebody with all this going on, and you're saying, we have to find that way of having movement. How do we stay persistent in movement if we get overwhelmed?
Well, that's just an age-old question, and I don't think most of us have the capability without an accountability partner, Lisa, to be honest with you. I used to be, for God, 37 years ago, I got into the world of personal growth, and from 1980 until 1996, I was one of these people spouting untruths. I was following my gurus. I was using words and phrases that people today still use, unfortunately. In 1996, I was woken up by one of the greatest teachers. And what I mean by using phrases by my gurus were things like, whatever you believe you can achieve, and your thoughts become things. And all this, it's a bunch of crap, Lisa. It's an absolute bunch of crap. What becomes things is your action. And if you're listening right now and you haven't achieved the weight loss, you haven't utilized your gifts and talents to volunteer and to make a difference, you haven't created the income you want, you haven't forgiven a past partner that cheated on you, whatever your gig is, it ain't happening with your thoughts. We need accountability partners to hold our feet to the fire so that those thoughts that you want to become things become things. The only thoughts on their own that become something in your life is called a miracle. We have been misled. We have been lied to. We have been, through well-meaning people, many my gurus, we have been taught that the power of the mind can take you to places that it cannot. Now, the power of the mind can heal, but if it does, it's a miracle. And the case in point is this. When we have someone, and I work as a counselor and a life coach, I wear both of those hats, which is very interesting. When I work with someone with a debilitating disease and they come into me and they say, according to these thought teachers, the law of attraction, etc., if I think good things, this cancer will go away. I will say to them, if you think good things and the cancer goes away, it's called a miracle. And the reason it's not a normal everyday occurrence is because it's a miracle. If the power of thought was so great, then every freaking damn person in this world with a disease who thinks positively should heal. It doesn't happen. It just doesn't. And so I am on this bandwagon. As you can tell, this soapbox, well, right now it's about 3,000 stories high. I'm looking down on her screaming, Lisa. but from 1980 to, I can talk like this because yes. I used to be one of those clowns. And I say clowns because it's not real. Listen, I've been a radio host for 27 years. Wayne Dyer, the late Wayne Dyer, I dedicated my new book on positive thinking to. He was someone that was amazingly remarkable. Deepak Chopra interviewed tons of times. Susie Orman. You tell me, list any of these gurus. I've interviewed them all. Do you want to know what they all have in common?
What?
Do you want to, Lisa, what they have in common that created their great success is the word you used earlier, is that they have all been so damn persistent and working their asses off to become successful in life. Not one of those people sat back with an affirmation and sold 1 million books. I will guarantee you that.
Yes. Oh, I love that you highlight that. Actually, I'm weird that that word only came to me at the beginning. And you know what's funny, when you really said about it, what we need is action. I recall, when The Secret came out, I believe it was like 2006 or something. They later on kind of brought it up to everybody, but there's something still missing from The Secret, and that is that you can't just sit back, and you have to take action. And I love that you highlighted that about a disease, whether it's cancer, it's everything. You have to have those thoughts, but the thoughts are what lead you to take action. And whether you're feeling in order to take that persistent action, you want not positive thinking, but positive thoughts. Am I aware? Because I love your book title. It's kind of that's the kind of the positive thinking will never ever, like you actually use the word never, change your life, and I love that.
Well, and it came because in 1996 when I woke up, and I was woken up by, I tell the full story in the book, and maybe we'll get a chance to talk about it. Yeah. But, I was this person that had gone around the world, and I mean speaking to 5,000 people at a time in huge auditoriums all over the world. And I was one of those individuals, say whatever you believe you can achieve. But then when I looked at my life, I hadn't achieved so much of what I said you could via thought. So I'm still a huge positive thinker. I mean, oh my God, the first hour of every day is spent in prayer, meditation, journaling. I write about that in my book. But what we found in the 37 years of doing this work and in the compilation for my book is that only 20% of your success will be due to the way you think. 80% of massive success will be you willing to do what you would rather not, to lose the weight, make the money, find deep love, get clean from an addiction. 20% via your thought will come from your thoughts. 80% will come from doing what you'd rather not do. Amen.
Oh, my gosh. You know what? We are going to end up going to commercial, and that's exactly, I want to revisit that. I love the 80-20, and I love what you just shared about it. So right after the commercials, we're back to 80-20.
The best of the holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Humanity Healing International is a small nonprofit with a big dream. Since 2007, HHI has been working tirelessly to bring help to communities with little or no hope. Our projects are not broad mandates, nor are they overnight solutions, but they bring the reassurance that no one is alone and that someone cares. To learn more, please visit humanityhealing.org. Humanity Healing is where your heart is.
My name is Victor Furman. Some call me The Voice. I've always been fascinated with human nature, spirituality, science, and the crossroads at which they meet. Join me Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio, and we'll explore these topics and so much more on Destination Unlimited.
Welcome back to The Cat Show. Up next, we have Nico. Nico is a member of the Shelter Pet Group.
That's right. A group known especially for their sunspot sleeping, ball chasing, leg rubbing, and of course, companionship. Just look how she struts.
It's like she owns the place.
And see how she curls up and cuddles her person.
The pitch on her purring is simply perfect.
Nice one.
Fantastic cat. But really the best way to know an amazing shelter pet like Nico is to meet one.
Visit theshelterpetproject.org today. Adopt.
Brought to you by Maddie's Fund, the Humane Society of the United States, and the Ad Council.
And we're back. We are lucky enough to have David Essel here with us and sharing the many, many years of absolute, not just like you're sharing hard, like super hard experience with us and looking back and saying what really does work, what doesn't. Just before we scooted off to commercials, we talked about success being 20% thinking and 80% of the things that we would rather not do. And I have a question about that. Now, this is when I got to read a little bit of your book there, just really, because of course when I saw, what do you mean positive thinking won't do this for me? And I'm thinking, and we're talking about persistence, we're talking about this, and it leads me to there's two actions that we can really choose to do. We can either choose to let go of something or give up, and there's a heaviness to both those, letting go, like just letting it go and knowing that we're going to take those action steps, or giving up and not doing it. And I wondered, because you really get into the brain, you really get into the psychology of things, and if 20% is of the thinking, what are the things that we should be thinking of then to help us be persistent?
Well, when I say, Lisa, that 20% of major success is going to be due to your thoughts, what we're saying is that if something happens, if you think that you're going to meet your soulmate and they come in and deliver your pizza that same night at 6 o'clock, people would say, well, that's the law of attraction. And what I say is, give me a break. That's called a miracle. That's just the truth. It's not, you didn't freaking attract them with your thoughts. As a matter of fact, let me tell you something very interesting. When we look at the power of thought, your thoughts are much more powerful when it comes to negativity than positivity.
Oh.
And let me share what that means. And then I want to get into a differentiation between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, which we spend an entire chapter explaining so people can figure out, why the heck do I keep going back to unhealthy relationships, unhealthy addictions, behaviors, unhealthy spending habits? We explained it all in the book when we differentiate conscious mind and unconscious mind. But let's talk about positive and negative thoughts. If you really want to look at a true example of the law of attraction, it is more valid with negativity than positivity. And here's the truth behind that. If you have a thought that you will never forgive someone, and you see them, and all day long you think, you know what, they're jerks. They cheated on me. They betrayed me. They stole from me. Those negative thoughts will compile and build and build and build until you reach for that drink, grab that cigarette, grab that donut, call someone and start gossiping about your former partner, blah, blah, blah. They will build faster than you could believe. However, if you have a positive thought, it does not build on its own. You have to keep resurrecting it and resurrecting it and resurrecting it. So does the law of attraction have some validity? Sure. But it's more powerful with your negativity than your positivity. In 27 years as a counselor and a coach, I've never had someone come in and go, I just can't get these positive thoughts out of my mind.
Okay, that's funny.
Like, Jesus, David, all day long I just keep thinking, you can do it, you can do it, you can. You never hear people saying that. They come in and they go, I am so anxious, I am so depressed, I am so angry, I'm so disappointed, I have such low self-esteem. Like, that's where the law of attraction is honest. And listen, I want to say something about The Secret and the law of attraction, because I want to short circuit people's brains. There is a positivity to all of that kind of stuff, but I'm going to equate that 20% of The Secret and the law of attraction are valid, and use them to inspire you, use the stories to get inspired to motivate yourself. But if you rely on affirmations and vision boards and all of this kind of crap, your life isn't changing. Listen, 25, 30 years ago, 70% of the United States of America was overweight or obese. 25, 30 years ago. In 2017, 70% of the American population is overweight or obese. If The Secret and the law of attraction was so damn powerful that you could change who you are via your thoughts, we should have had a dramatic decrease in the amount of people who are overweight or obese. It's like I like to bring in statistics to my conversation. This isn't David Essel on a soapbox beating up on other books. I'm going, come on now. Now, in the book, Lisa, we say why The Secret was so popular. We say why the law of attraction is so popular. And it comes down to this. There's something in psychology that we created in 1996 called human nature. And the definition that we created for human nature is very simple. It is our desire to get the most out of life with minimal effort. Mm-hmm. That's what we all want. That's why Suzanne Summers' Finemaster still sells thousands of freaking copies every year. And people are thinking they're going to sit on their couch and they're going to put this little freaking springy thing between their thighs and they're going to look like Suzanne Summers. You know, like the reason why people still buy this stuff is because they want the most out of life with minimal effort. For people that buy lottery tickets upon lottery tickets, they want the most out of life with minimal effort. Now, I got to tell you, with all the millionaires that are friends and clients of mine, I don't have any millionaires that are out every Wednesday and Saturday buying $100 worth of lottery tickets.
Right.
And it's not that they wouldn't like another $10 million. It's just that they're realistic. You want to make money? Throw your damn vision board away. You can keep some affirmations, but let's do what you'd rather not do to increase your income and decrease your expenses. So, you know, my conversation with you, Lisa, is the conversation that we've had for years and years and years. And finally, because my book became a #1 bestseller, we've got people jumping off their seats trying to find the information that we're sharing. And I'm so appreciative of you for being willing to look at the cover of the book and go, wait a second, because you and I and everyone else have bought into at some point, you know, because of very well-meaning people, that the thought is what we've got to change. Listen, here's something that's going to blow. We have a brand new book coming out January 1st. It's called Focus!
Oh, and I love that.
Oh, yeah. And in the book, we say this. Now, I love Buddha, and I love the principles of Buddhism, but I take Buddha on.
Oh, gosh. Oh, no. This is going to be the ringside fight.
I know. You know, it's so funny. It's like, and this is one of Buddha's most famous statements is this: we become what we think about all day long. People love that crap. Oh, my God, you can still find it on social media every day. Somewhere someone is posting that nonsense. Okay, I love Buddha. And you know what? What he taught us 2,600 years ago was what we knew at the time. Times change. What the truth is we become what we do all day long.
Ooh,
we become what we do.
You know what, David? This is actually, I'm having a moment of clarity here, and I want to highlight it to you, too. I'm taking the reverse of it, which is perfect because that allows me to stand beside what you're saying. Well, okay, I kind of really like myself, and I take action every day to eat well and move my body, and just those are my actions, right? But say I did wake up one day and I was really upset with myself. Oh my gosh, you drank too much last night. You stayed up late, and you said something you don't wish you didn't say. But guess what? I might think that all day long. But if I'm still taking actions to love myself, treat myself with kindness, I'm still acting that way. You know what? I never really hate myself. So it's kind of like you said in the reverse there, because
that's right.
Right, exactly. I can see what you're saying there, because if I'm thinking all day poorly about myself, it doesn't mean that I really do think like I'm not a poor person. I'm not a horrible person.
And I think, Lisa, looking in the mirror especially and saying, what you said to that person was really harsh and unfair and unkind. You need to reclaim that. You need to apologize. Like that's a healthy. And listen, I don't think there's anyone in this world who is a human that should go through every day, every month, every year, chipper and, unless they're on some kind of drugs, I don't know. Maybe if they were on ecstasy 24/7, they could, pull that crap off. But most of us, we really have to understand that we are human. That means we are yin yang. That means we can have days that suck. We can do stupid things. There's this great quote on Facebook that says, everything happens for a reason. And one of the reasons could be that you're stupid and doing the same stuff that's never worked over and over and over again.
And that's very honest, isn't it, though?
It's just honest. So, if you did drink too much last night and you did eat too much yesterday and you didn't do the exercises yesterday you said you're going to do, stand in front of the mirror, call your butt out, don't hide behind some excuses, and then make amends with yourself. Do it now. Do it now. Make the apology. Get in the gym today. That's what we're asking people to do is get real.
I love, this is you just brought a huge question I have to ask you because I think you'll actually talk about it. there's a lot of people that do go to, like, counselors and psychiatrists and coaches, as you're saying, and they get stuck in that story and they're repeating the story, but then they are either asking for or accept a prescription. They do go on drugs to adjust the chemical, quote unquote, imbalances in their brains. I would love to ask you your opinion on antidepressants.
Okay. In 1990, I was suicidal.
Oh.
Mr. Positive, Mr. Motivation, living directly on the beach in Florida, beautiful golf front home, and I was suicidal. And the day that I had planned to take my life, at the last minute, I chickened out. I called every psychiatrist in town. Every one of them said it'd be 3 to 4 months to get in. I picked one out of the phone book. I drove to their office. I walked in. I was in tears, and I said to the receptionist, I will sit here until he's free. I am going to hurt myself.
Oh, wow.
So when I was there, and the guy's name was Dr. Jeffrey Liu, and I don't even know if he's still alive because it was a long time ago. But I remember he said, I have 15 minutes for you. I raced in this office and sat down and he told him, I said, I am hurting. I've been hurting for a very long time. I don't know what to do. I want to hurt myself. And we talked for that 15 minutes, and he put me on medication. Now I'm going to give this very blatant example because I think, Lisa, there are times when medication, it saved my life. Now, I will also say this. We had to do so many different trials with different medications, different dosages. Oh, my God. I became insomniac because the medication that they put me on at first was the wrong one. We went for months where he would put me on a sleeping medication combined with the antidepressant. It was hell on earth, but I didn't kill myself.
Right.
So it worked, And then the most beautiful thing happened, and he told me this. And even though I was a counselor in 1990, he said to me, I will work with you if you commit to counseling for a year, which I did once a week for a year. And when we finally got the medication right at about the 4 or 5 month mark, it had to be about the 9-month mark. And Ina was my therapist. And I don't know if Ina's still alive. Ina was my therapist, and I walked in one day, and she asked me how I was doing, and I saw her every week, sometimes 2 and 3 times a week. And I sat down, and I said, you're not going to believe it. The birds came back to the beach today.
Oh.
And Lisa, she looked at me, and she said, David, we live in Florida. The birds are here all the time.
Oh, my gosh. With our commercial, we're going to be back with the birds on the beach right when we come back. Right.
The best of holistic, spiritual, and conscious world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. AscendingHearts.com.
Grab a cup of tea or a glass of wine and tune in for Inspired Conversations with publisher Linda Joy on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. Linda creates sacred space for leading female luminaries, empowering authors, heart-centered female entrepreneurs, coaches, and healers. A soulful venue where guests openly share the fears and obstacles they've overcome, wisdom and lessons learned, and the personal journey that led them to the transformational work they do in the world. Inspired Conversations to empower you on your path to authentic, soulful living.
So I'm a cat, and I just moved in with this new human, and she's got this little toy she's always playing with, all day long. Tap, 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 bloop, bloop. She can't put it down. There it is. Oh, and get this. She even talks to it. Last week she asked it for Chinese, and guess what? Egg rolls showed up. Like magic. Humans have cool toys.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
We're back with David Essel, and I have to say, I'm one to move around, but I'm actually forcing myself to sit down so I can pay attention to this because he's got me so motivated and so full of action in my body. David, just before, thank you for that, because I'm already not hyper enough, aren't I? But I just absolutely so appreciate that you not only just remembered, of course you'd remembered what you said, but you've captured it in that one sentence that you said. The birds came back to the beach. They were on the beach. That is so powerful. And I wanted to ask you, I want to visit that for a second, because when we were talking about, I got the image of being lost in one's own thoughts, and that's a disconnect, and we're not relating to anybody, but then all of a sudden you had this little bit of clarity and you could hear these birds, which brings me to thinking of focus, which is the name of your book. And I want to make sure that we feel we have explored that feeling about the beach and things. Did you go off the medication to be able to focus, or what happened after that?
No, you know what really was amazing is that, when Ina, the therapist, said to me, David, we live in Florida. The birds are always here. You've come back. Yeah. That was the profoundness of her statement. That was, 9 months on this heavy medication and battling the different prescriptions and trying to find one that worked for me. And then we obviously, even though when you're in a hyper depressed or a hyper anxious state, Lisa, your acknowledgement of improvement is so screwed up. You can't see when you're improving. And so what she did was, in that one statement, like I get emotional now thinking about it, because in the office that day, it was the biggest breakthrough I've ever had, is when she said to me, this is how well you're doing. This is how much you're improving. These birds have been here 365 days in a row. You haven't heard them for 9 months. You haven't heard them for 2 years. You're hearing them because you've come back. And it was right after that session that I went back to my psychiatrist and we started decreasing the dosages, and then I was off it a year. And so, what I say to people, and as a counselor, I say, medication will never heal. It might stop you from killing yourself, but it's not meant to heal. You've got to do the emotional work. And so the answer to your question, do I believe in medication? I believe in medication for depression or anxiety or both bipolar or schizophrenia when you cannot function in the world, yes. However, now, schizophrenia and bipolar are different. People might have to be on those medications for life. But my belief, as a counselor, not a doctor, my belief is that there are times when you are going towards self-harm that you need to go on medication. But I always say to people, at the end of 6 months or 9 months or at the most a year, we should be weaning off. And then we should be doing not only the emotional work that you do with therapy, but you should also be looking at amino acids that are awesome for brain health that I prescribe. The most potent ones being amino acid with the initials DLPA, another amino acid called tyrosine, another supplement called 5-HTP, another supplement called GABA. We work with people who are in lower levels of depression. If someone says to me they're suicidal, I'm putting them right into a psychiatrist chair. But other than that, I will work with them first on a whole barrage of amino acid supplements to change brain chemistry. And then if for some reason they're going down faster, we will say go to the psychiatrist. But, it's just like with antibiotics, Lisa. People get a scratchy throat and they go and get antibiotics, which is absolutely ridiculous. They have a head cold and they get antibiotics, and the antibiotic doesn't touch a head cold. So we say quit running to medication. If you're feeling blue, down, and you're not at the point of self-harm, there are so many things that can be benefited by therapy and amino acid therapy, so counseling and amino acid therapy, without running and jumping on medication.
I am so glad that you highlighted that. That's a huge thing. And I know a lot of people can get to that point and have to ask, actually, of course, this is me and my words. In the word medication, you can spell action. And so I'm going to say take action over medication. And I in visiting that back to the 80-20 about, I used to think, because I love words and I love playing with them. And I think of inspiration and then motivation. And then think of where the word inspiration to me, I think of aspire is like the breath, like the, just like a
Right.
in non-informed. And then I think of motivation. I think of motor skills being the physical aspect. So I think, you know what, when we get the inspiration, like you said, with affirmations, with our thoughts, with our vision boards, and using that, to just inspire us to take the motivation, the motor skills, and take action. I was going to ask you, so you've got the one book is now coming out. It's not out yet, but the current book, The Positive Thinking Will Never Change Your Life, but this book will. If we can compare without knowing yet what the Focus book is about, should everybody start with that book first and then go to Focus, or are they going to be individual standalones?
Oh my God, they are so standing alone. Yeah, they really are. As a matter of fact, Focus is the follow-up to Positive Thinking Will Never Change Your Life, but this book will, The Myth of Positive Thinking, the Reality of Success. The new book, Focus, a step-by-step guide to huge success, an incredible attitude, and profound love. That's the full title of Focus. But you really need to start with the Positive Thinking book, Lisa, because we spend so much time on the conscious and subconscious mind. And I'll talk about that in a minute. One of the coolest things that has ever happened with our current book, #1 bestseller, Positive Thinking Will Never Change Your Life, was the first time I was on Jenny McCarthy. And you're familiar with the celebrity Jenny McCarthy?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, so, she is an amazing, one of the smartest people I've ever been with, one of the most gracious, most humble, funniest. I mean, I put this woman on a pedestal. I put very few people. I really do. She is that sweet, kind, freaking smarter than a whip. And but here's something interesting. So and I tell the full story in our upcoming book, Focus, but I'm going to give you a good portion of it now. Very first time I'm on the show, Jenny was a little hesitant bringing me on because she was a huge fan of The Secret and the Law of Attraction. So my publicist, TJ Torriello, convinces her assistant, Michelle, to give us a shot. And Michelle was so excited. And so I talked to Michelle the day before I'm on with Jenny. And Michelle's going, oh, my God, I'm so glad you wrote this book. Like, I don't like all this positive thinking crap. Jenny loves it all, but I don't buy it, blah, blah, blah. So we go on the air, and Jenny goes, up next is, well, let me tell you, I'm a little intrigued by this guy. He wrote a book, Positive Thinking Will Never Change Your Life, but this book will. And you guys know how much I talk about how I love positive thinking. So let's welcome him to the show. And, I jump in the show, and Jenny and I are immediately within 30 seconds, our energy is so similar, just like yours and mine, Lisa, that we're laughing together and everything. She goes, okay, listen. I'm going to give you a couple minutes. I'm going to give you the floor. Explain your book. Like, this doesn't seem to go along with what most of us believe today. So she gave me 3 to 4 minutes, and I hit it hard. And at the end of it, she said, oh, my Lord. And she turns to the audience, the radio audience, and she says, hey, everybody, we got to slow down here. Listen to this guy. He's the real deal. He knows what he's talking about. The power of thought is not what we thought and what I've been talking about for years. So, I mean, and you know what it takes for a celebrity to get humble, Lisa?
Oh, my goodness, yes.
The higher up in the food chain you are, the harder it is for people to say, shit, maybe I'm wrong. It's just the truth, because you have millions of people telling you how great you are. You have millions of people telling you you're the smartest thing since sliced bread. You've got millions of people adoring you. And for her to stop after my 4 minutes and to say, holy crap, I was wrong. This guy's right. Like, that was one of the greatest things, that has ever happened since the book came out. And it's an opportunity for me to tell people, I want you to think positively. I just want you to know the reality of success is not going to be based on your thoughts.
Right, and I want to thank her for doing that, and because that is a leadership skill as well for everybody else to follow, whoever you are. And
yes.
and thank you and wow, you really did knock it out of the park. You took your 4 minutes seriously, didn't you? You took action on it.
Well, it's funny, Lisa. I mean, in 1996, and I tell the full story in the book, when my world was changed, shattered, I'll say. From 1996 till today, which is 21 years, I've had 21 years of honing my message. of saying, you know what, we gotta knock this crap off about you become what you think about, all day long. That's just not true. So it's kind of interesting the way life works. I mean, I've had all of these years of preparing myself to get on Jenny and to give her a knockout 4 minutes for her to be able to go, this guy really knows what he's talking about, and so I was very blessed, and we've been back on her show 4 times now. We're going on again in another month.
I actually got to listen to a few of them. I loved them. They were absolutely fabulous. And you really do, like when I introduced you there and said you could really talk to you about anything, like really anything from like what you said, addiction to relationships, the way we think to our careers. I mean, it's all about, and if we can now, we still do have a minute and a half or so before commercial. I know you can plug a lot in here because it's how our brains work. It doesn't matter what you're dealing with of all those topics, all the areas of our lives. It is how we're wired, like our subconscious and conscious.
Yeah, when we look at wanting to change, and this is the thing that's kind of confusing for people, if you want to lose weight or stop an addiction or find deep love or quit berating your children or, move to another, whatever the challenge is, what's going on in the brain, Lisa, is the same darn thing for every challenge in life. It's when I work with a food addict or an opiate addict or an alcoholic, or I work with someone that wants to become a millionaire, there's so many similar principles that I use with everyone because we have to get to the root of why am I self-sabotaging? Why am I talking a good game but not doing what needs to be done? Why am I saying I'm not going to overeat and then overeating or drinking or smoking or what? Like the question is why? Why am I saying that I want to become a millionaire but I'm not willing to take the risk to learn how to network effectively? There's so many similarities that are always wrapped up in the subconscious mind. And when we come back from the break, we'll talk about the subconscious mind.
Oh my goodness. I'm so going to look forward to that. And as we enter to that commercial, I will tell you, David, one time, I'm a nutritionist, I talked about cottage cheese forever, and then 10 years later, I had to tell everybody to stop eating it, and I had to step up to the plate, and I know how hard that was, and it was a weird comparison, but it's such a true one. But I am really excited to find out the similarities of why we do sabotage in all areas of life when we come back.
Connecting you with the best of the conscious minds in the world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM. Host your show on IOM FM, the radio network of OMTimes Media, one of the more recognized brand names in the conscious community, and is backed by the extensive marketing reach of OMTimes. Hosting a show on IOM FM immediately connects you with our extensive dedicated community.
More than 24 million Americans have an autoimmune disorder, and that number continues to grow. I'm Sharon Saylor, and I'm one of those 24 million. To put that number in perspective, cancer affects about 9 million and heart disease up to 22 million. That's why I've brought together top experts and those thriving regardless of their diagnosis to bring you the latest, most up-to-date information. Join me, Sharon Saylor, Friday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, for the Autoimmune Hour on Life Interrupted Radio to find out how to live your life uninterrupted.
Me, a cat, moving in with a new human. It took a little getting used to. She has these weird games she likes to play, like this giant feather. She sticks it in my face. I swat it away. She sticks it in my face. I swat it away. It's almost like she thinks I enjoy it. But seeing how much fun she gets out of it, well, I guess it makes it all worth it. Humans.
A person is the best thing to happen to a shelter pet. Be that person. Adopt. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org.
We're here letting David Essel rock our world and our minds. And I so love that we just highlighted on the commercial there that this is a conscious community. So we're talking a couple conscious definitions there, but we are going to go speak right now about how in the subconscious or conscious mind, why we are sabotaging ourselves and our lives regardless of what area it is. Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it really doesn't. So if we keep choosing inappropriate love partners, if we, keep choosing jobs that pay us less than we're worth, if we, whatever, addictions, it really doesn't matter. It's all the same. So here's the basic definition, that the conscious mind is the mind of intent. So the mind of intent says, I'm going to get up today and I'm going to go for my hour walk, or I'm going to go to the gym, or I'm going to do something really good for myself. And then at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock at night, you look back and you go, oh, man, I missed it again. And we go, you know what, but I'm going to change. As a matter of fact, tonight I'm not going to have those 2 or 3 glasses of wine. I'm going to not drink. I'm going to get up earlier and go to the gym. And then at 9:30, quarter of 10, we end up just through habit at some level, but this is the subconscious mind. We have those 2 or 3 glasses of wine. The alarm goes off at 6 o'clock, and we go, oh, my God, I don't feel good enough to get up to go to the gym, but I will start tomorrow. So the intent, and I tell this story in the book that changed my life in 1996, the intent is the affirmation. I am a millionaire. I am sober. I am a size 8. I am a blah, 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 blah. This is the intent. And in the new book, Focus, we're going to shatter people's brains when we tell them how you really should be doing affirmations if you want to change. But so the intent is the conscious mind. But if we don't follow through with the intent, that has nothing to do with consciousness. That's because the subconscious is in charge. And so if you keep saying you're going to quit overeating, quit drinking, quit smoking, you're going to go to the gym, you're going to forgive your former lover so you can finally be free, and you don't, that doesn't mean you're ignorant or stupid. It could mean you're lazy, but the reality is that the truth is there's been a pattern set in the subconscious mind. And the only thing the subconscious cares about, Lisa, and we go into so much depth and detail in our book, Positive Thinking Will Never Change Your Life. I really highly advise people get the ebook or the soft cover to get the depth that I'm going to give you in a couple minutes. But the subconscious mind creates a pattern. So with me, in my book, I say for 25 years, I woke up every day with this intention, with this intent, with this affirmation. I am David Essel. Now notice, I always follow my guru's words, begin every affirmation with the words I am. I am David Essel, a child of God, happy, healthy, and sober today. And Lisa freaking A, man, every night over 25 years at 8 o'clock, I drank myself to sleep. I was a raging alcoholic. Doing the work I'm doing today as a speaker, radio host, TV host, counselor, life coach. I've been doing this stuff for so long. And every night at 8 o'clock, my subconscious took over and said, you know what? You deserve that glass of wine. Look at how many people you helped today. Look, you put another 12-hour day in. Let's just relax. So I would get up in the morning, and the illusion that affirmation set is that I am now someone different. But it's an illusion. Affirmations don't make the change. Your physical actions make the change. So the subconscious takes over, and all of a sudden at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you're eating that freaking candy bar that you said you weren't going to eat any more sugar. At 7 o'clock at night, you're screaming at your kids because they didn't finish the homework, and you promised you would never yell at them again. The pattern was set in the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind's role, it has one role, Lisa, and that's to keep us doing what we're doing right now. It cannot differentiate if your daily habits are healthy or not. It doesn't have a clue, and it could care less. All it cares about is you stay with the pattern. Now, let me give you an example of how the subconscious is an ally, because all I'm talking about right now is the subconscious is a saboteur. Right. As an ally, if you accept the fact that brushing your teeth at 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 is the way to go, and you're 40, 50, 60, 70, you're brushing your teeth twice a day. You're not even thinking about it. It's a pattern that was set in the subconscious when you were a child, and you're doing it every day. That's where the subconscious is an ally. You would never leave the house without brushing your teeth. It feels like crap. Your breath is terrible. People will be running from you, and so you get into this habit, and it just becomes who you are. On the flip side, the subconscious is just as tenacious, keeping you as a drinker, a sugar eater, a smoker, an angry person, a whatever it might be, struggling with money. That's subconscious mind. So in the book, we talk about this in great detail, and then we talk about the only way you cannot change a thought with a thought unless it's a miracle. And I want your listeners to write this down. You will never change a thought with a thought. You'll never change a behavior with a thought. If it was so damn easy, we wouldn't have 70% of the U.S. overweight or obese. Your thoughts are not as powerful as what we think. If you want to change the subconscious mind, the subconscious mind can be changed. I'm living proof. In 1996, when Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, one of the most amazing teachers that ever walked this earth, rest in peace, he's the founder of Transcendental Meditation, he woke my butt up regarding my addiction. He's the one that exposed me. He's the one in the most gentlest, loving way ever. And I tell the story, and it's an incredible story in the book. He's the one that got me to see all of my affirmations aren't worth crap when it comes to changing and letting go of an addiction. If I'm not willing to do something hard, tough, uncomfortable, my addiction would still be here today. My sobriety is so precious to me, Lisa. It has radically changed my life. But my affirmations kept me stuck as an addict, because when you're getting up every day and you're saying, I'm a size 6, I'm a millionaire, I'm sober, and you're not doing crap about it, that's where affirmations are your worst friend ever.
I see how that can be used for good and evil. And you know, when you're talking about right now, first of all, there's no proud or anything because it's you for doing it, but I'm just so happy that you are in the state that you want to be, and I want to just say I'm happy for you about that. And when I think about what you were saying about actions, you know, a thought will not change a thought. It made me think of the word a consequence. Like I thought, you know, if I ate something or drank something or behaved a certain way, there will be a consequence. And usually consequences is an actual physical, it's an act, it's an action that has been it's occurring to you. And I wonder if that's maybe what you're saying, like if the consequences that you take action and the consequences you make $1 million are the consequences that you didn't take action and you don't make any money, that's going to influence the subconscious to create a pattern around it.
Yeah, the quickest way to change an area of your life that is not working. I mean, let's go back to the formula. 20% of a massive change will be due to your thoughts, but 80% will be due to your willingness to get uncomfortable. Like, keep remembering that when you want to change the subconscious mind and you're in a pattern with your physical health, your spiritual health, your emotional health, your financial health that isn't working, keep that formula. You know, yes, get up every morning, especially in the morning, and devote a minimal of 30 minutes to reading positive stuff, you know, journaling, positive gratitude and all that. But then let it go. That's where you got to let it go. If you want to say positive stuff throughout the day, fine. But what's more important is that you end up doing those steps that suck, that you end up getting someone to hold your feet to the fire, that you end up investing time, money, and effort into a financial planner, a counselor, a life coach, a personal trainer, a nutritionist. Stretch yourself. Invest in yourself. Do what they tell you. That's where you're going to turn the subconscious mind around. And then, just like brushing teeth, if you do those steps long enough, like Lisa, today I can go to funerals, I can go to weddings, I can go to New Year's Eve parties, I can go to birthday parties, I can go anywhere whatsoever where there is 1 billion bottles of alcohol. I could give 2 craps. I have no interest. I can have fun, sober. Oh, hell, I remember the first concert I went to, Steely Dan, sober. I had more. Oh, my goodness. I had so much freaking fun, and I didn't think I would. And I had a blast. So there is nothing that's going to turn that around. I've radically changed my subconscious thoughts about, you know, I deserve a drink and I need a drink to relax and successful men drink and all that crap. You know, I have totally turned it around. And people can drink around me, but I will say this. If I'm in a function and people start to get a little out of control, I just walk away and leave the function. I don't care if it's, you know, a relative's wedding. I don't care what, my own mental capability now of being able to smell nonsense and walk away is huge. But years ago,
that's the action, isn't it? And that's the aligned action, to your goal. And it sounds like anybody who's going to read Positive Thinking Will Never Change Your Life is going to get a bunch of good stories to really, first of all, make them laugh, because I think they're awesome stories so far, and then really get deep with them too and say, you know what, you are sharing stories of all the hard stuff that you really didn't want to do, but you did. And so I do want to tell the readers, if they can't, go check out Positive Thinking Will Never Change Your Life. It's David Essel. And David, we've got about just under a minute. I would love to hear any closing positive and negative and everything thinking thoughts that you have.
Okay. Well, first of all, for your listeners, check out our website because we have a ton of free stuff at talkdavid.com. It's just talkdavid.com. All right. Here's our closing thoughts and reminders. You can have about anything you want if you're willing to put in the amount of work necessary for 365 days to achieve that. Over 37 years of work, we've found that people, in order to change the subconscious mind, to earn a lot of money, to lose a lot of weight, to change their concept about love, it takes about a year of consistently doing what you'd rather not do, Lisa, for it to turn into the new you. You are worth it. If you're going to live to be 70, 80, 90 years old, give up 12 months of eating or drinking or being a jerk in order to get the life that you want. Like forgive freaking people that you don't think they deserve to be forgiven so that the rest of your 20, 30, 50, 60, 70 years are awesome.
Wow. You know what, David? Thank you for that reality check. I love the entire reality check. I can't wait to have you back again if you'll share time with us.
Oh, in a heartbeat. Are you kidding me? I love your show.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, again, everybody, it is, say that link, the website one more time.
Oh, talkdavid.com.
Perfect. Talkdavid.com. Everybody go there, get some free stuff, the helpful stuff, and then take action. Thank you so much, David. Thank you.
You're welcome, Lisa.
Bye-bye, everyone. Bye-bye.